Week 3, bringing the show in with a little remix for Jay. Jay was going to do the show with me this morning, but we'll try to have him on next week to co-host. Let's just be honest, there would have been maybe excessive bullying had that occurred, but we'll try to get the big Jay Shulver on next week. It just didn't work out with our very busy schedule. So here we go. We're going to run through this preview this week. Just taking a look at some transactions here, some waiver wire wonderful magic that has occurred. OJ Howard, $15, big time player, maybe big time talent. We'll see, how that shakes out. Ty did pay $15 for him, so somebody I thought about sitting on my bench. I just struggled to roster 2 tight ends. Giovanni Bernard, $24, big J. Kind of see what his usage will be. Be interesting to kind of see how that goes with the Mixon situation. Just the fact that Gio was out there and not handcuffed was, I thought, kind of curious there. Just because the role he's going to have. I mean, he's going to have 16 to 22 touches every week, really. He's somebody who's not really game scripted out either. I don't think Gio is very good anymore, frankly. But just watching that game last Thursday, he didn't really have a bounce in his step. He looked pretty bad, but just that role is the great ad by Jay. And then Ryan Fitzpatrick. If you have not seen the Ryan Fitzpatrick interview from the post game on Sunday, you need to hit up the YouTube and just start to type in Ryan Fitz, and it'll be the first thing that auto fills there for you. Just hilarious. I mean, just wearing D Jackson's clothes, just that guy's just having fun playing football, and there's something to be said for that. I mean, look at the way they're playing. How on earth do you go to Jameis Winston? It's the Tampa Bay Bucs organization. I just can't imagine that those receivers and those offensive linemen are going to want that to occur with the way they're playing right now. You just see Jameis, I don't know. I think that'll be an interesting situation to see how it plays out. Here are the standings. Jason's team is very good, as we've kind of discussed. Unfortunately, it's going to be without Mixon for a little bit, but we're going to talk about his team in a little while. He's got some really nice depth. Todd Gurley, he gets Ertz back this week. Excuse me, not Ertz. Wentz, the other quarterback for the Eagles. So certainly that should help him out. I'm assuming Tyler, big Carson Wentz fan. He will be playing him this week. And then, we have one other team. The top 3 scoring teams are Mr. Mitch, Mr. Johnston, and Mr. Stuffle. So you can kind of see the standings there. Big week for Luckbox, Shake, and Team Overrated Beard. By the way, name your team, Joey. That's one that I saddled you with. So let's go through the preview here. No prep this morning. It's a busy week here at Yorktown. Just a lot going on. So had a lot of stuff to do. But I tell you what, we're going to bring it. So before we do, though, I do want to credit the Tesler and Adler and Whalen Law Firm, especially Whalen, for their charitable donation that was larger than life and larger than ever this year to help me run this show. They can bury bodies for you. They can dig up bodies that have been buried. And they can do anything with a skeleton in a closet that is legal or illegal. So hit them up if you commit a crime or want to commit a crime. Tesler, Adler, Whalen Law Firm, doing big things for big and little people. Juice me up, butt buddies. I've talked about Danny's team a lot, so again, don't necessarily like to dive into my team a ton on this show because nobody wants to hear about it. My one worry, though, is Dalvin Cook. They've been pretty cryptic about what's actually going on with him. Was it cramping? I don't know. He says it was hot, but he didn't practice yesterday. So, hopefully that's just a usage and a management thing for him. But that's my worry with my team right now. Looking at Danny's team, his receivers are really good, like I've said, for 3 weeks now. But he's got to be a little bit worried about his running backs. Carlos Hyde scored a touchdown both weeks, but I think has something like 103 yards, 105 yards. Jordan Howard is just the Bears' offense just isn't very good. But Danny's receivers and Jordan Reed, until he gets hurt, probably in week 5, has the ideal quarterback for him. And Alex Smith, a guy like Phillip Rivers, who doesn't really throw to anyone who isn't a tight end or running back. It'd be an interesting matchup. You can see a big projection there, 107 to 107.7. So could be a bit of a shootout there. Good luck to Danny and Ryan. Here's Shake and Bake and Nathan Sucks D's Nuts. Patrick against the 1-1 Nuts team against the 0-2 Bake team. We'll just kind of break down by position here to kind of streamline this. Matt Stafford against Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers on the road at Washington. Aaron Rodgers is a lot better at home. It's an interesting situation here. I like Matt Stafford at home a lot against New England until they show they can run the football, which they haven't shown in 10 years. I think Matt Stafford is going to put up some pretty good numbers there. David Johnson and Zeke, I've talked about Zeke a lot, and you guys know I'm not necessarily a Zeke guy. He's just he's getting in the end zone, and his numbers aren't really jumping off the page. Yard per carry, solid, not great. But I'm worried about my boy Diddy, and I know Jesse's boy Diddy as well. One of my favorite players in the NFL for sure, somebody who's won me a lot of money. That offense is atrocious, and offensive line's bad. They don't have weapons on the outside. When your best weapon's Larry Fitzgerald, who's 48 years old, I don't know. I'm worried about David Johnson. I really am. Jarvis Landry with the questionable tag on a Thursday night game, that makes me a little nervous. And this is a huge week for Jesse. Certainly you can come back from 0-3 pretty easily, really. You can go 6-7 and make the playoffs, but Jesse needs to get a win. He needs Jarvis Landry to play this week for sure, in my opinion. Guy who's going to get a lot of volume. Looking at Nathan, sucks these nuts. He's OBJ really still hasn't. I thought last week was going to be it, and I was way off. I thought he would go off at Dallas, and I don't think this is a good spot for him to go off here. So I think I like Jesse's team this week. He will be my pick, just based on some safety and targets and volume of his running backs, and then Demaryius Thomas, and especially if Jarvis Landry plays tonight. And this avatar is fantastic. This could be Conor McGregor, or it might be the new quarterback for Team Hot Hands, Mike Mitch. By the way, if you need a quarterback, Michael has Andrew Luck and Phil Rivers, as well as Fitzmagic. So, again, watch the Ryan Fitzpatrick interview. It is 7.5 minutes of pure gold. Just fantastic. Taking a look at this, we'll kind of break it down by positional group, if you will. What I will tell you is I really, really like Ryan Fitzpatrick at home against Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh has just gotten pounded. They've given up 76 points to quarterbacks in 2 weeks. And Tampa can't run the ball and may have, dare I say, the best receiving core, if you count O.J. Howard, maybe in the NFL. Right up there. We were talking about that yesterday with Minnesota. But, I actually favor Fitzpatrick once again. Wentz's first game, he's at home. Colts defense actually looked decent. I don't know. I think it's kind of a wash. Here you have Todd Gurley, Lamar Miller against Crowell and Breida. Matt Breida leading the league in rushing thanks to, mostly one long run. Only 22 attempts this year, and he's done very well with them. Isaiah Crowell's is another touchdown guy. Didn't have a great game last week, but at Cleveland, you'd like to think maybe that's competitive. Certainly favor Todd Gurley. Not a Lamar Miller guy myself, but do love Todd Gurley. Obviously, anytime he can fall into the end zone. Notice that 42-yard game, 31.3 fantasy points. Their kicker got hurt, so that got him an extra couple 2-point conversions worth 3 points apiece. I like Michael in this game. Honestly, I see Julio Jones against New Orleans. I see Tyreek Hill against San Francisco. My goodness. Allen Robinson, Arizona. I don't know that where Michael will go here. You have a little Patrick Peterson there. I would assume will shadow Robinson. But I just think I look at Julio Jones, Tyreek Hill right now, and I look over at Tyler's team. Carolina's surely going to guard AJ Green. That first quarter he had last week was unbelievable. I think there's upside and floor in Michael's team. Tyler, I like your team a lot. Goodwin, Cook, Peterson, Miller. I think there are more guys there who can just not do a ton on your team as opposed to Michael's right now. And I just think you got to ride that Fitzmagic train, baby. Rev that up. Team Free's a golfer. Team overrated Beard. Mark Kelly, Joseph Kalen. I don't love Tyrod Taylor. A lot of people do. I'm just not on that train. He gives you a floor, but the problem is his floor is 16.4 that he got last week. So he's at home here. You probably like the spot. Saquon Barkley's very good. Alex Collins, what's going on there? There's a guy they're resting in the preseason, get him the star treatment, and now it's just he's got some fumbling problems. Buck Allen's becoming a factor. Kenneth Dixon's coming back. Don't know what to do with that, but I like Adam Thielen. I think he's a good player. He's a smart player. That passing attack has become much more vertical, and they're throwing the ball more as well. and frankly, than I thought they would with that defense. But John Brown's a guy who makes plays. Who knows what's going on in this New England backfield? I mean, Sony Michel is very talented. They drafted him first round. You got to think they're going to play him. But you never know what New England's going to do. I remember Lawrence Maroney was the guy who they committed to for a while, and then all of a sudden it's like, see ya, right? New England running backs, always problematic for me. Taking a look at overrated Beard, he's riding AB. He's got Peyton Barber in a good matchup. Peyton Barber's getting the ball. He better play well, or he's going to lose that job. Not that anybody can do anything behind that Tampa Bay running offensive line there. This is an interesting matchup. I think this projection's a little high, just in my opinion there. The problem mark, I think, is going to be AB this week. AB usually doesn't whine, and when he does, you know what's going to happen. So, Mark, I think you're going to need, and I think your wild cards here are going to be in this Baltimore game. They do play Denver, which is not a great spot, but it's at home. So I think if you're going to pull it off, you're going to need Baltimore to score some touchdowns for you here at home against Denver, because I think Antonio Brown is going to go for a whole bunch this week. Mr. Luckbacks and the Lollipop Guild, an 0-2 versus 2-0 matchup. Two teams that, looking at the beginning of the season, in my opinion, were the best two teams in the league. And all of a sudden, Adam's got to play the best team in the league right now that just happens to be able to throw Deshaun Jackson in the lineup when he loses Mixon, which, Jason, this is a player I did not know was on your team. And we've seen Deshaun, man. I saw a stat, actually. He has 6 deep targets this year. He has caught them all for, I believe, 140-some yards in all 3 of his touchdowns. So Fitzpatrick, 6 for 6 targeting Deshaun downfield. And that's going to continue because Pittsburgh sucks. They're going to that's going to be a fun game to watch. It's going to be a fun game to watch. You want to hit that up on the red zone or whatever you have. Kirk Cousins, Kamara, Connor, Cooper, Deshaun, Ertz. Yeah. A lot of interest here for Jason in Philadelphia, as he had last year, I believe, as well. I think he was rostering Ertz and old boy who's always hurt, Alshon Jeffrey. Looking at Adams' team this week, I think he needs a win. And what I like is he's stacking the Brady and the Gronk train at Detroit in a dome. And I think when you're playing a team that may be better than you, Adam, no offense, just right now Jason's team might be a little better than yours. Especially regarding these running back touches. Although I like your guys, just the floor as well as the ceiling with Jason is astounding. Got a dome there too, Adam. But I like that you have the Brady and the Gronk stack, because anytime you're facing a team that may be more talented than yours, top to bottom, it's good to double up. So who knows what's going to happen with Jamal Williams? Here in a minute too. Big week for Adam. I just this game, I don't even necessarily want to make a pick. I think Adam. Just a tough one. This is a big matchup. It's a big matchup. Good luck to both you guys. Again, 0-3 is not the worst thing in the world, but certainly a spot that Adam would like to take down. Here's one of our lawyer friends, our sponsor of the podcast, Pimpin' Ain't Breezy, Trampus, A. Whalen, and the Mighty Midgets. And, all of a sudden you look at Trampus' team, and he's had some injuries. He's kind of gotten unlucky. He has LaShawn McCoy, who, is on maybe even a worse offense than David Johnson has. And, just the drama that always comes with McCoy, whether it's a lawsuit or an injury or, whatever it may be. Interesting spot here. Drew Brees at Atlanta in a dome. Those Atlanta-New Orleans games, they shoot out a lot. So that'll be interesting. And then on the other side, you just happen to have Matt Ryan. So that'll be a kind of a fun situation here for these two with their quarterbacks going head-to-head. Drew Brees is actually a good quarterback, though. Matt Ryan's terrible. Saw a statistic that I may or may not have shared on Julio Jones in the red zone. And this was going into last week. Matt Ryan was 1 for 20 targeting him in the red zone since 2017, I believe. Unbelievable, and that's on the quarterback. I mean, Julio can't be that bad in the red zone. I love McCaffrey. Melvin Gordon, his volume's been unreal, but the Rams not an ideal matchup there for Trampus. Really like Trampus's receivers this week, Devontae Adams and Keenan Allen. But then I look over at Adams' team, and he's got a couple hot ones there too, in better matchups. So if you look at Adams' team, this is the best the middle of his lineup has looked. So if you omit Garcon, who doesn't need to be rostered. Tough matchup, Tramp. Good luck to both you guys. Hope everybody has a great week. Deuces. God bless.